Hi folks, this is going to be one in my videos on how I was taught by my higher self, aiazmir. And in this video, I want to tell you about how he taught me about how time works. And this revolutionized my life. And I hope it revolutionizes your life as well, because we tend to think of time as just being a linear event. So it's just a straight line sequence of events that are inevitable. So we think of time as being living a life in which we have no choice and in which we have no influence. So this is how he did it. We were talking about this, and I would say to him, he was trying to explain to me how time works, and I said, I really don't understand this concept of time, Can you give me some practical examples of this? So he said, okay, I'll show you how it works. So this one day I woke up, had an experience, went through the day, did everything that I did, in that day, and went to sleep. The next morning I woke up and switched on my TV to watch the morning news, and it was saying everything that been said the day before. And I went, got dressed, did everything the same as I did the day before, got into my car, drove to work, and everything seemed to be just the same thing, like deja vu. I'd been doing this before. And then when I got to my desk at work, I noticed that the calendar on my desk showed that this was the day before. I thought, this is yesterday. I'm not experiencing today. This is yesterday. And that was a shocking revelation to me. But anyway, I went through the day, did everything that I did the day before, and the events just worked out the same way they did the day before. And I went to sleep. And while I was in my sleep state, my higher self, aiazmir, came to me and he said, what did you notice? What did you notice that was different from the day before? And I said, well, it was almost exactly the same, except when I looked at my calendar, I should have been one day forward, and now I was having the same experiences as I had the day before. She said, well, tomorrow you're going to have the same day, but you're just going to play it out in a different way. And he'd been teaching me that there are timelines of potential, probability, and possibility. And potential timelines is like when you project backwards or forwards. Each one of those is a potential. And he taught me that what determines potential is our emotions and our thoughts. Now, if we have loving, kind, generous, compassionate thoughts, it puts you onto a different timeline of potential. And if you have values and standards, high values and standards, going from high to low, it puts you on a different probability line. And if you have the right attitudes, higher attitudes, it puts you into a higher possibility. So he said to me, think of it this way. I don't know if you remember the CD discs that we used to buy. Well, at the time, that's how we bought our CD discs. And he said, now imagine a spindle of CD discs that you buy. And there are 12 CDs in each spindle. And when you have potential energy, it's a potential to have experiences and to have different experiences. And if you are having higher emotions and thoughts, you activate a different part of the spindle. So if you imagine that spindle is high emotions and thoughts to low emotions and thoughts, from love to hatred, from grace to fear, from compassion to, each one of those is an energy field, and they create the timelines we experience. And the potential energy, okay, is 12 timelines of potential that we may experience. But each one of those timelines of potential leads to another array of probabilities. Now, in each array of probabilities, each probability also carries as 12 potential timelines into the probability lines. So for each probability line, you have 12 probability lines, but each of those probability lines is carrying the original potential time. So we have 144 probabilities based on our standards and values. And then for each of those 12 probability lines, we have 12 possibility lines. These are timelines, and the timelines are just frames of experiential reality. It's like a movie. A movie is one frame at a time, and as you watch the movie, each frame is creating the movie. And that's how the holographic reality works. What we are experiencing is a hologram. So each of those 12 potential timelines turns out to be 144 probability lines. And if we take the possibility lines, our attitudes change the possibilities of the probable timelines. So they make what is possible and what we will possibly experience. And so for each of those 144 probability lines, each one of those carries forward the 12 potential timelines and carries the 144 probability lines, so that each of those 12 possibilities has 1,786 possibilities. If you just do the maths, it's quite simple. And so we talked about those discs, those array of discs, and each of those array of discs are a movie of your life, but then not a movie as determined by someone else. They're a movie that you determine for yourself by your free will, by your thoughts, by your emotions, by your values and standards and attitudes. So you have this big array of 1,786 spindles of different movies running at the same time. And you determine which timeline you want to be on. And time isn't fixed in space. It's not fixed in time. It just depends on you and what you do in the present. So what he did, he asked me to go back and told me I was going to relive the first day that I jumped back into. And he said, now I want you to take cognizance of it. And do you remember when so-and-so came into your office and you just dismissed them? And you didn't show any acknowledgement of them or wasn't gracious to them? He said, you're going to change that. And so you're going to be gracious to that person. You're going to be kind to that person. You're going to acknowledge that person. You're going to express your appreciation for the things that they brought to you. So the third day, I did that. And I had a totally different experience in that day than I did in my previous experience. And so I asked him, like, how does this really work, you know? How do we change our time? How do we change our experiences into a higher frequency timeline? Because our thoughts and emotions create frequencies, waves of energies, and those waves are creating information. And that's all a movie film does. It's bits of information that creates a moving picture. So in a holographic reality, we are the director, the actor, the screenwriter, the editor. We can be the producer, the director, and we can create everything in the movie if we know how to create a different timeline. And timelines are not preservations of information. They're not predetermined information. So those 1,786 disks of possibility carry an infinite number of possibilities. And what makes the difference is our free will. If we will determine the outcome of the movie that we want to create. I know this is going to be very difficult for people to understand, and for me it was a bummer at the time. I mean, it took me years to actually begin to understand this. But I did notice that as I changed my thoughts and emotions, and I went to higher values and higher standards and better attitudes and understood what attitudes I needed to have and to practice them, it changed my whole reality. And in fact, what it does, because we are all co-creating the same reality for ourselves, because we're all interconnected. And if we all just learn this stuff and do this stuff, it will change everything here. Because in a sense, the universe is not predetermined. It's self-determined. And that's going to be very difficult for some people to understand. That we actually determine the reality we're going to experience. So I hope this has helped, and it's been a short homily, and there's so much more to learn, and I love you all, respect you all, and I wish you much love and much joy in co-creating in our reality in the future. So goodbye. Love you all.